Hey folks, it's Matt once again, and welcome back to another video. And this is a film that I wanted to give another watch because I had not seen this film since like 2012, somewhere around there. And like I've said, this week I'm sort of picking up on films that I wanted to watch again, or wanted to, or films I was curious about. Taken 3 was lame. I Am Wrath was disappointing. This I remember not caring too much for the first time I saw it. Or being sort of indifferent maybe about it, kind of like, whatever. But watching it again, I did not mind this film. And that film is called Safe House, with Denzel Washington and Ryan Reynolds. Robert Patrick has a small role. And if my friend Mike OCP sees this, you should see this movie. And if you want to know why, there's a scene where Ryan Reynolds beats the shit out of Joel Kinnaman and kills him and breaks his neck. And no, I don't mean ill will in people in real life. Chill out, folks. It's tongue-in-cheek. But my friend Mike, technically Deadpool fucks up, beats the shit out of him brutally, and kills Robocop from 2014 movie, Robocop. So Deadpool kills Robocop. As in Ryan Reynolds beats shit and kills Joel Kinnaman. So again, my friend Mike, OCP, sees this. At least see that scene. Maybe it's on YouTube. But yeah. Deadpool fucked up 2014 Robocop. I'm like, that sold me watching this again. I'm like, I don't remember that. I'm like, holy shit, Joel Kinnaman? Can I get a what Kinnaman's in this? In a tiny role. Enough for Ryan Reynolds to beat shit out of and kill. I'm like, oh, cool. Deadpool fucked him up. And I know, and that's like a dream. That should be a dream thing for my friend Mike, because he loves Deadpool to death, and he hated that RoboCop remake. And yeah, I like Deadpool, and that RoboCop remake's a piece of shit. So that was the first thing that popped in my head after watching this. I'm like, oh, man, my friend Mike needs to see at least that scene. But I thought this film was pretty decent. I had to write this director's name. Daniel Espinosa. I don't know what else the guy has done. I just, when I watched this, I saw it from the perspective of a Ryan Reynolds vehicle, not as a Denzel Washington vehicle. Because Ryan Reynolds is really the star of the film. Denzel Washington has a good chunk of screen time, but it's really Ryan Reynolds' film when I look at it. Now, Ryan Reynolds is a guy who's watching this safe house in South Africa. He's bored. He's on the low rent level of the CIA, low totem pole of the food chain. He has his girlfriend. And Ryan Reynolds plays it pretty much straight, but he does a good job in this role. I thought Ryan Reynolds was really good. And he's just bored, and he wants to do something. He wants to make something of himself, but he's just got nothing to do. And he talks to a guy in the CIA that he knows, Brendan Gleeson, who's been in Lake Placid and many other films. And Gleason's like, oh yeah, one day you'll, just hang in there. And then it comes to Denzel Washington, who is a guy who used to be the CIA. He's considered a traitor, and he gets this data, this microchip. This guy tries to kill him. He beats the shit out of him, breaks his neck. And the guy that he's with gets shot in the head, and he gets chased. So he goes through this crowd, shoots a gun on the ground to scare people to get out of the way, and goes to the American consulate. Turns himself in just to get away from the bad guys. And Denzel's brought to the safe house where Ryan Reynolds is at. And this is where you have Robert Patrick is with Denzel, where they do some waterboarding, where that's when they get the guy and they put like a towel, they dump water on him, they get him to talk. That's waterboarding. And Robert Patrick, it's nice to see him in there, but he doesn't have much to do. Very small role, 5 minutes at most. Now, I remember when I first heard about this, I was a bit disappointed because from the early synopsis when I heard about this film way back when, I thought it was going to be like Assault on Precinct 13. What I mean by that is that Denzel is the guest of the safe house, and these guys would just keep coming into the safe house, and Ryan Reynolds and this team and the other people have to hold them back. And then maybe Denzel would help. Again, like Assault on Precinct 13. Well, I guess that's more like the remake of Assault on Precinct 13, and this would have been better than the remake. I still like this more than that remake. I hate the Assault on Precinct 13 remake. I don't know, maybe because I'm such a huge fan of the original. I'm like, you don't need to remake that. You just make other films like it. I mean, hell, Assault on Precinct 13 is based on a shitload of westerns that was pretty much the same idea. You don't have to fucking... They remake every John Carpenter film, and that's the thing. You cannot remake a John Carpenter film because John Carpenter is the man. Even when he does a remake, he does it well. That's why he's the man. But anyway, got off on John Carpenter tangent. I can't have it. John Carpenter's my favorite director. But I was kind of disappointed that it wasn't that. But watching this again, I liked it for what it was. It didn't bore me too much. The action scenes worked for what they had to do. I will say though that a bit too much of the handy cam, or I call it shaky cam, but it's when you have a camera, like imagine this is the camera shooting the film, and they do this, like even when someone's talking, it's like, get a fucking tripod, please. And then especially in the action, it feels a bit choppy, a bit like doing this, and I don't like that. I don't prefer that in my action scenes. I prefer it to get a fucking tripod, or put it on something, have smooth movements, or pull back, or don't fucking do this. I hate that shit. But this shootout happens, and I will say Robert Patrick's crew seems pretty incompetent. I mean, it seems like they don't even put much of a fight, and they get killed off pretty easily. I'm like, these are some really shitty... Robert Patrick's crew seems pretty shitty in their job. They suck ass at their job. But Ryan Reynolds gets Denzel, they escape. Decent little car chase with like 2 crashes. Fucks up 2 of the cars. Gets in a bit of a struggle with Denzel, and Ryan Reynolds buckles up, able to do something to knock out Denzel, at least for a little bit, to get the upper hand and make him drive while Ryan Reynolds sits in the back. And I thought Denzel Washington did a good job as well. I like some of his lines, like, oh, I like this, figuring shit out. We're like the Hardy Boys. Denzel, he's a very capable actor. There's not too many films that I think he does a bad job. Like, I'm not a big fan of The Equalizer because I feel it's a way too long movie, and it didn't need to be, and it felt like it didn't know when to end, and it just... I have a lot of problems with The Equalizer. I'm like, I would just prefer John Wick to The Equalizer. But Denzel's performance was not the problem. Here, Denzel, again, he does a good acting job. Ryan Reynolds, it was great to see him play a straight role, and I don't think it was laughable. I thought it worked well. I'm not going to say it's great, though. I mean, the plot is kind of what you've seen before. Crooked CIA, who can you trust? Being set in a different country. We've seen that so many times before. The plot's kind of thin. Not even kind of, I do think it's a bit of a thin plot. That things is complicated. I don't think it deserves a 6.8 and IMDb, and it was a box office hit, made over $120 million, and there was even talks of a sequel, which I'm like, there's no way you can make a sequel. That'd be stupid. So I don't think it deserves that much, but I thought it was an okay film. It was alright. Again, I like the 2 leads. I like the location. South Africa was alright. It wasn't just a typical European country like a lot of action movies. Then Denzel and Ryan did a fine enough job. I like the little relationship with each other. Some decent supporting cast. I mean, Sam Shepard is good. Brendan Gleeson's good. I see Robert Patrick, even though for a teeny bit. They did two plays, and I like some of the bits of dialogue where Denzel's talking about, oh, you have a girlfriend, you should let her go. Oh, I don't know, maybe it was a guy. I don't know. I don't judge. um, but one thing leads to another. Ryan Reynolds gets a call saying you gotta take him to the stadium. There's a and there's some aspects of the script that I did like. For example, Denzel, who's handcuffed, says, "Oh, he's trying to kidnap me," and creates a diversion, which gets Ryan Reynolds arrested. And then Ryan Reynolds like, wait, look on your monitor. Where's the guy you took? And they're knocked out, and Ryan Reynolds beats like two of the guys up. And a couple interesting parts. For example, he knows the dialect, so he steals the radio and is talking on the radio to get them to move out of the way. I thought that was a smart move. When I see a smart move, I'm like, I appreciate it. Thank you for not treating me too dumb in that moment. Oh yeah, he knows the dialect. Let him get him out of the way. Or there's a cop being an asshole shooting at civilians, and so Ryan Reynolds has to shoot the cop in the leg, in the shoulder or leg. I forget what it is. But because again, the cop is being an asshole and shooting at civilians, and even Ryan Reynolds is like, stop, stop. And so I'm like, okay, I didn't expect that little interesting bit. They don't really go too far with it or do much with it, but in that moment, I'm like, okay, that's a little bit interesting. Gets to Denzel, and that's where you get the scene in the trailer where Denzel disarms Ryan Reynolds and shoots him by the ear and says, I only kill professionals, then leaves. And then Ryan Reynolds is going to get him back. By that time, Denzel, that's when he shaves and cuts his hair, and Ryan Reynolds talks to his girlfriend, lets her go because this is a dangerous profession. Doesn't want her to get hurt. Finds out that Denzel has gone to Ruben Blades. Nice to see Ruben Blades in a film, who's a forger. Some bad guys get there. They fuck up Ruben Blades and his wife, and Denzel runs for it on these rooftops. Ryan Reynolds gets in the vehicle. Some run and gun stuff, some little fights. Ryan fucks up this guy who has a knife to him, and again, some of this action could have been better if it wasn't so choppy, but it's still not as bad as Taken 3. The action scene, even the action scenes are not as horrible as Taken 3. And the other film I saw, I Am Wrath, this one at least something's happening. I Am Wrath is just a very generic, almost cheap looking movie. So I don't know, maybe because of the past couple movies I had seen, this is like, oh, this is more of a welcome fresh of air. I think I said that wrong, not fresh of air. A breath of fresh air. A welcome fresh of air. I don't know what the hell that is. I'm gonna say those last two movies fucked my brain up, but uh, I thought there was some nice dialogue between Denzel and Ryan Reynolds. Denzel talking about how he got in the situation, how something happened, and this innocent guy was killed by him, and he was told it was this, and then it was actually a whistleblower, and he tried to lie to himself, but he didn't believe it, so that's why he left the CIA. And his line is like, "Don't kill innocent people," which is like no shit, but I thought the actors worked well together. They get to the safe house with Joel Kinnaman. And yeah, Deadpool versus RoboCop is a pretty brutal fight. I think my favorite piece of action in the film. That was a pretty decent fight, and Deadpool fucking breaks the 2014 RoboCop's neck. Which I don't know. Maybe that scene sold me on the movie again. I don't know why, but I'm being tongue-in-cheek, but I'm kind of being serious as well. And of course, the data is about corrupt agents, and Brendan Gleeson is corrupt, and Denzel shoots some. Brendan shoots Denzel. Ryan Reynolds shoots Brendan Gleeson. Denzel has some nice words saying, "Hey, you're better than me. Just be better than me," and dies. Ryan Reynolds talks with Sam Shepard. Where's the microchip, the data? Ryan Reynolds is like, I don't know. And then he lets it leak to all the media. And if you're wondering, I have a note and a DVD I'm going to see later on it. Some notes so I don't forget, like some names and such. Just sometimes I'm bad with names. Who's the guy who wrote it? Shitload of executive producers that I wrote down, but I'm not going to name them all. But yeah, David Guggenheim who wrote it. Script has a couple decent touches, but it's like, oh, okay. I like the song at the end, which is actually the song in the trailer. If you watch the trailer and that song that plays, that's actually the song at the end credits. I like that song. It's one of those movies that I would not call this an action movie. I would call this more of a thriller with action elements. I think a thriller with action elements, because to call this an action movie is not really the I don't think it's appropriate. I would call this more of a thriller than an action movie. It has action elements, but I thought as a thriller, it was okay. It was not the best. It's not the worst. It's not one of the best. It's not fantastic. I know there's a nice guy. He felt it's underrated. I would not call it underrated. I would call it. It was okay. It was all right. Again, I like Denzel. I like Ryan Reynolds. Decent enough pace. Some nice little elements. Some back and forth between the two leads. And when I say back and forth, I don't mean in oh, it's hilarious, but some nice bits of dialogue, some nice supporting cast, some bits of the action I didn't mind. Again, I could do without the choppiness. The script, for the most part, other than some interesting elements, kind of a thin plot. You just pretty much see where it's going, and if you've seen enough of these films, it's really not much to surprise you. The finale, I wish could have been, other than the fight with Ryan Reynolds, Joel Kinnaman, the final shootout seems kind of blasé and meh. It's sort of Denzel shooting these two guys pretty quickly and then getting shot, and then Ryan shooting Brendan Gleeson. It's like, that's the finale? Oh, and a vehicle blows up. I'm like, that's the finale? Oh, okay. I thought it'd be more intricate or more suspenseful or more action-packed, or the finale's kind of like, okay, I guess. I didn't. I thought maybe it'd be like a big shootout with Ryan Reynolds and Denzel taking out a bunch of guys, but that's not really the case. Mostly it's Ryan Reynolds on a bed and then shooting Brendan Gleeson after Brendan shot Denzel. I'm like, okay. Oh, and then again, Denzel shot two people. I thought there'd be more to the ending. I mean, granted, that's not the actual ending. It's, the Ryan seeing his girlfriend and giving her a note and letting all the data, the microchip, released to the media. But I just thought the finale would be more intricate or more stuff going on. And it's kind of like, sort of ending, finale. Maybe I'll say finale. I wish there were a bit more to it. Maybe more bad guys, both of them teaming up and taking these guys out left and right. And then you can have Brendan Gleeson come up and. But yeah, it's. I thought it's an alright film. I thought it was I didn't hate the film. I can understand why someone would hate the film, though. And this is not a film I'm going to defend. Like, there's a lot of movies to defend. I'm not going to defend the movie. But, and I do think the 6.89 to be, again, I think it's a bit too high. I just think it's an alright film. mainly due to its two leads. I thought the two leads worked well. And you have some decent parts of action, and I like the fight between Ryan Reynolds, Deadpool fucking up Robocop. And I like the song at the end. So overall, I mean, there's a lot of elements I like. It's just a thin plot, choppy action, and a finale that's kind of weak. Hurt the film for me, but it doesn't make me hate the film. But I do think they do hurt the film. So, but overall, I like it. I don't love it, but I like it. So that's my thoughts on Safe House. It's okay if you agree or disagree, but I thought I liked it overall. I thought it was alright. So anyway, thanks for watching. Take care, and we'll see you later. Bye bye.